Bandeyam Shigaro Shiyata Paragamam Shigurun Vaishnavam Sa Shirupan Sagrajatam Sagana Raganatam Bitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shivishkam Bitam Sya Om Ajnana Timirandasya Yanachana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yanatasma Shigurave Nama Gurava Bishtam Supuragam Gurganara Sesha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Vedanipanam Shirupa Patanagam Govinda Bidam Ujjalam Bharatanam Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Bande Vishwagurun Shah Divyat Bhagavat Prem Noe Bija Pranam Devam Divyatanam Suchanda Varanam Balarka Chelanshitam Sandrananda Puram Sareka Varanam Vairagya Vidyamburim Sri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Varam Mandetam Shivanam Mareka Sharanam Nyashi Shara Shidharam Vanshakapatarubhyascha Kripasindubhya Vicha Patitanam Pavenabhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratavishe Nama. So we're hearing from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Translation and commentary by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupad. And this is the Adi-lila chapter 10, the trunk, branches, and sub-branches of the Chaitanya tree. I'll begin with verse number 91. Mahaprabhur Priyabritya Raghunatha Das Sarvatyaji Koila Prabhur Para Talebas. Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, the 46th branch of the tree, was one of the most dear servants of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He left all his material possessions to surrender completely unto the Lord and live at his lotus feet. Prabhu Samarpilatare Swarupera Hate Prabhura Gupta Seva Koila Swarupera Sate. When Raghunath Das Goswami approached Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri, the Lord entrusted him to the care of Swarup Damodar, his secretary. Thus they both engaged in the confidential service of the Lord. Shodasha Vatsara Koila Antaranga Sevan Swarupera Antardane Aila Brindavan. He rendered confidential service to the Lord for 16 years at Jagannath Puri, and after the disappearance of both the Lord and Swarup Damodar, he left Jagannath Puri and went to Vrindavan. Vrindavane Dui Maira Charana Dekiya Govardhane Tyajiva Deho Brigupata Korea. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami intended to go to Vrindavan to see the lotus feet of Rupa and Sanatan and then give up his life by jumping from Govardhan Hill. Etan Nischoy Kori Aila Vrindavane Ashirupa Sanataner Bandila Charane. Thus Srila Raghunath Das Goswami came to Vrindavan, visited Srila Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, and offered them his obeisances. Tabe due bae tare marite nadila nija tritiya bae kore nikate rakila. These two brothers, however, did not allow him to die. They accepted him as their third brother and kept him in their company. Mahaprabhu lila jata bahira antar duebai taramuke shune nirantar. Because Raghunath Das Goswami was an assistant to Swarup Damodar, he knew much about the external and internal features of the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. Thus the two brothers, Rupa and Sanatan, always used to hear of this from him. Anajala Tyaga Koila Anya Katan Paladui Tina Mata Korana Bakan. Raghunath Das Goswami gradually gave up all food and drink, but a few drops of buttermilk. So he was living on just some buttermilk, the milk that's left after yogurt is churned into butter. Sahasra Dandavat Kore Loe Laknanam Dui Sahasra Vaishnavere Nitya Paranam. As a daily duty, he regularly offered 1,000 obeisances to the Lord, chanted at least 100,000 holy names, and offered obeisances to 2,000 Vaishnavas. Ratri Dine Radha Krishna Manasa Sevan Prahareka Mahaprabhu Charitakatan. Day and night he rendered service within his mind to Radha Krishna, and for 3 hours a day he discoursed about the character of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Day and night he rendered service within his mind to Radha Krishna, and for 3 hours a day he discoursed about the character of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Teen Sandhya Radha Kunde Apatita Snan Brajavase Vaishnave Kore Alinganaman. Sri Raghunath Das Goswami took 3 baths daily in the Radhakund lake. As soon as he found a Vaishnava residing in Vrindavan, he would embrace him and give him all respect. Sarda Sapta Prahar Kore Bhaktira Sarane Charidanda Nidra Seho Nahik Kondine. He engaged himself in devotional service for more than 22 and a half hours a day, and for less than 2 hours he slept, although on some days that also was not possible. Tahara Saranarite Shunite Chamatkar Se Rupa Raghunatha Prabhu Jayamar. I am struck with wonder when I hear about the devotional service he executed. I accept Srila Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami as my guides. Iho Sabar Jaiche Hoila Prabhuram Milan Agi Vishtarila Taha Koriva Varnan. I shall later explain very elaborately how all these devotees met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Gopal Bhatta Ek Sakha Sarvotama Rupa Sanatana Sanghe Jara Prema Lapan. Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami, the 47th branch, was one of the great and exalted branches of the tree. He always engaged in discourses about love of Godhead in the company of Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. Shankararanya Acharya Brikara Ek Sakka Mukunda Kashinath Rudra Upashaka Leka. The Acharya Shankararanya was considered the 48th branch of the original tree. From him proceeded the sub-branches known as Mukunda, Kashinath, and Rudra. It is said that Shankararanya was the sannyas name of Srila Vishwarup, who was the elder brother of Vishwambar, the original name of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shankararanya expired in 1432 Shakabdam AD 1510 at Sholapur, where there is a place of pilgrimage known as Pandharpur. This is referred to in the Adi-lila chapter 9, verses 299 and 300. Srinath Pandit Prabhu Kripara Bhajan Jara Krishna Seva Deki Masha Tribhuvan. Srinath Pandit, the 49th branch, was the beloved recipient of all the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Everyone in the 3 worlds was astonished to see how he worshipped Lord Krishna. Jagannatacharya Prabhu Priyadas Prabhura Agyate Teho Koila Gangabas. Jagannatacharya, the 50th branch of the Chaitanya tree was an extremely dear servant of the Lord, by whose order he decided to live on the bank of the Ganges. Krishnadas Vaidya Pandita Shekhar Kavichandrar Kirtaniya Shashtibar. The 51st branch of the Chaitanya tree was Krishnadas Vaidya. The 52nd was Pandita Shekhar. The 53rd was Kavichandra, and the 54th was Shashtivar, who was a great Sankirtan performer. Srinath Mishra, Shubhananda, Sri Ram Ishan, Srinidhi, Sri Gopi Kanta, Mishra Bhagavan. The 55th branch was Srinath Mishra. The 56th was Shubhananda. The 57th was Sri Ram. The 58th was Ishan. The 59th was Srinidhi. The 60th was Sri Gopi Kanta. And the 61st was Mishra Bhagavan. Subhuri Mishra, Hridayananda, Kamala Nayan, Mahesh Pandit, Shrikara, Sri Madhusudana. The 62nd branch of the tree was Subhuri Mishra. The 63rd was Hridayananda. The 64th was Kamala Nayan. The 65th was Mahesh Pandit. The 66th was Shrikar. And the 67th was Sri Madhusudan. Purushottama Shri Galima Jagannatha Das, Sri Chandra Shekhara Vaidya Dvija Haridas. The 68th branch of the original tree was Purushottama. The 69th was Sri Galim. The 70th was Jagannath Das. The 71st was Sri Chandra Shekhar Vaidya. And the 72nd was Dvija Haridas. Ramadas, Kavichandra, Sri Gopaladas, Bhagavatacharya Thakur, Sharanagadas. The 73rd branch of the original tree was Ramadas. The 74th was Kavichandra. The 75th was Sri Gopaladas. The 76th was Bhagavatacharya. And the 77th was Thakur Sharngadas. So in the very beginning, when it's mentioned that all these different branches and sub-branches of the Chaitanya tree will be enumerated, the author says, I do not wish to decide who is higher and who is lower, who is a big devotee and who is of lesser importance. So here we see that Krishnadas Kaviraj is just giving a list of all the persons who were direct disciples of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jagannath Tirtha, Vipra, Sri Janakinath, Gopalacharyara, Vipra Baninath. The 78th branch of the original tree was Jagannath Tirtha. The 79th was the Brahman Sri Janakinatha. The 80th was Gopalacharya, and the 81st was the Brahman Vaninath. Govinda Madhava Vasudeva Teenbai Jasavar Kirtane Nache Chaitanya Nitai. The three brothers, Govinda, Madhava, and Vasudeva, were the 82nd, 83rd, and 84th branches of the tree. Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda used to dance in their kirtan performances. The three brothers, Govinda, Madhava, and Vasudeva, were the 82nd, 83rd, and 84th branches of the tree. Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda used to dance in their kirtan performances. Ramadas, Abhiram, Sakya, Prema Rasi, Shola Sanger, Kashtatuli, Jaikori Labanshi. Ramadas Abhiram was fully absorbed in the mellow of friendship. He made a flute of a bamboo stick with 16 knots. Prabhura Agyaya Nityananda Gode Chalila Tarasange Tinjan Prabhu Agyaya. By the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, 3 devotees accompanied Lord Nityananda Prabhu when he returned to Bengal to preach. Ramadas Madhava Ar Vasudeva Ghosh Prabhu Sange Rohe Govinda Paya Santosh. These 3 were Ramadas, Madhava Ghosh, and Vasudeva Ghosh. Govinda Ghosh, however, remained with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri and thus felt great satisfaction. Bhagavatacharya, Chiranjiva, Sri Raghunandana, Sri Madhavacharya, Kamalakanta, Sri Yarunandana, Bhagavatacharya, Chiranjiva, Sri Raghunandana, Madhvacharya, Kamalakanta, and Sri Yarunandana were all among the branches of the Chaitanya tree. Mahakripa Patra Prabhur Jagai Madai Patita Pavana Namer Saki Duibai. Jagai and Madai, the 89th and 90th branches of the tree, were the greatest recipients of Lord Chaitanya's mercy. These 2 brothers were the witnesses who proved that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was rightly named Patita Pavana, the deliverer of the fallen souls. Goradesh Bhaktera Koila Sankepa Katan Ananta Chaitanya Bhakta Najai Ganan. I have given a brief description of the devotees of Lord Chaitanya in Bengal. Actually, his devotees are innumerable. Nilachalaye Sa Bhakta Prabhu Sanghe Dui Stani Prabhu Seva Koila Nanarange. I have especially mentioned all these devotees because they accompanied Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Bengal and Orissa and served him in many ways. Kevala Nilachale Prabhur J. Bhaktagan Sankepi Korye Kechu Se Sabkatan. Let me briefly describe some of the devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. Nilachale Prabhu Sange Jatabhaktagan Sabara Adyaka Prabhu Marmaduijan Paramananda Puriyar Swarup Damadar Gadadhar Jagadananda Shankar Bakreshwar Damodara Pandit Thakur Haridas Raghunatha Baidyara Raghunatha Das. Among the devotees who accompanied the Lord in Jagannath Puri, 2 of them, Paramananda Puri and Swarup Damodar, were the heart and soul of the Lord. Among the other devotees were Gadadhar, Jagadananda, Shankar, Vakeshwar, Damodar Pandit, Thakur Haridas, Raghunath Vaidya, and Raghunath Das. Ityadika Purvasange Bhora Bhaktagan Nilachale Rohe Kore Prabhura Sevan. All these devotees were associates of the Lord from the very beginning, and when the Lord took up residence in Jagannath Puri, they remained there to serve him faithfully. Arajata Bhaktagan Goradesha Basi Pratyabde Prabhure Deke Nilachala Asi. All the devotees who resided in Bengal used to visit Jagannath Puri every year to see the Lord. Nilachale Prabhu Saha Pratama Milan Se Bhaktaganer Ebe Koraye Ganan. Now let me enumerate the devotees of Bengal who first came to see the Lord at Jagannath Puri. Bharashaka Ek Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya Tarabhagni Pati Sri Gopinathacharya. There was Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, one of the biggest branches of the tree of the Lord, and his sister's husband, Sri Gopinathacharya. Kashi Mishra, Pradyumna Mishra, Raya Bhavananda, Jaharamilane Prabhu, Pailananda, In the list of devotees at Jagannath Puri, which begins with Paramananda Puri, Swarup Damodar, Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, and Gopinath Acharya, Kashi Mishra was the fifth, Pradyumna Mishra the sixth, and Bhavananda Roy the seventh. Lord Chaitanya took great pleasure in meeting with them. Alingana Koritare Bolilas Bachan Tumi Pandu Pancha Pandava Tomaranandan. Embracing Rai Bhavananda, the Lord declared to him, "You formerly appeared as Pandu, and your 5 sons appeared as the 5 Pandavas." Ramananda Roy Patanayaka Gopinath Kalanidhi Shudanidhi Nayaka Abaninath. The 5 sons of Bhavananda Roy were Ramananda Roy, Patanayaka Gopinath, Kalanidhi, Shudanidhi, and Nayaka Vaninath. A Panchaputra Tomar Mora Priyapatra Ramananda Sahamora Deho Beda Matra. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Bhavananda Roy, "Your 5 sons are all my dear devotees. Ramananda Roy and I are one, although our bodies are different." Prataparudra Raj Ara Odra Krishnananda Paramananda Mahapatra Odra Shivananda Bhagavanacharya Brahmanandakya Bharati Sri Shiki Mahiti Ara Murari Mahiti. King Prataparudra of Orissa, the Oriyan devotees Krishnananda and Shivananda, and Paramananda Mahapatra, Bhagavanacharya, Brahmananda Bharati, Sri Shiki Mahiti and Murari Mahiti constantly associated with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu while he resided in Jagannath Puri. Madhavi Devi Shiki Mahitira Bhagani Sri Radhara Dasi Madhya Charanamagani. Madhavi Devi, the 70th of the prominent devotees, was the younger sister of Shiki Mahiti. She is considered to have formerly been a maidservant of Srimati Radharani. Ishwara Purir Sishya Brahmachari Kashishwar Sri Govinda Nama Tara Priya Anuchar. Brahmachari Kashishwar was a disciple of Ishwara Puri, and Sri Govinda was another of his dear disciples. Tara Siddhikale Dohe Tara Agyabhaya Nilachale Prabhustani Milila Asya. In the list of prominent devotees at Nilachala, Jagannath Puri, Kashishwar was the 80th and Govinda the 9th. Kashishwar was the 18th and Govinda the 19th. They both came to see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri, being thus ordered by Ishwara Puri at the time of his passing away. In the list of prominent devotees at Nilachala, Jagannath Puri, Kashishwar was the 18th and Govinda the 19th. They both came to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri, being thus ordered by Ishwara Puri at the time of his passing away. Gurur Sambandhe Manya Koila Duha Kare Tara Agyamani Seva Dilena Dohare. Both Kashishwar and Govinda were godbrothers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and thus the Lord duly honored them as soon as they arrived. But because Ishwara Puri had ordered them to give Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personal service, the Lord accepted their service. Anga Seva Govindare Dilana Ishwar Jagannatha Dekite Chalan Age Kashishwar. Govinda cared for the body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whereas Kashishwar went in front of the Lord when he went to see Jagannath in the temple. So Govinda, They were godbrothers and Mahaprabhu, disciples of Ishwar Puri, as was Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu was reluctant to accept service from them, but because they had been ordered to serve Mahaprabhu by their spiritual master, Ishwara Puri, Mahaprabhu accepted the petition of his spiritual master and engaged him in his service. So Govinda became personal servant of Mahaprabhu, and Kashishvar would go ahead and protect Mahaprabhu when he would go to the Jagannath Puri temple. Aparasa Jai Gosai Manusya Gahane Manusya Tele Bhata Korekashi Malabane. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the temple of Jagannath, Kashishvar, being very strong, cleared the crowds aside with his hands so that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could pass untouched. Ramai Nandai Dohe Prabhur Kinkar Govindara Sange Seva Kore Nirantar. Ramai and Nandai, the 20th and 21st among the important devotees in Jagannath Puri, always assisted Govinda 24 hours a day in rendering service to the Lord. Vaishya Garajala Dine Bharana Ramai Govinda Gyaya Seva Korana Nandai. Every day Ramai filled 22 big water pots, whereas Nandai personally assisted Govinda. Krishnadas Nama Shuddha Kalina Brahman Jare Sange Loya Koila Dakina Gaman. The 22nd devotee, Krishnadas, was born of a pure and respectable Brahmin family. While touring southern India, Lord Chaitanya took Krishnadas with him. Balabhadra Bhattacharya Bhakti Adhikari Mathura Gamane Prabhu Jeho Brahmachari. As a bona fide devotee, Balabhadra Bhattacharya, the 23rd principal associate, acted as the brahmachari of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he toured Mathura. Bora Haridas Ara Chota Haridas Dui Kirtaniya Rohe Mahaprabhu Bhash. Bora Haridas and Chota Haridas, the 24th and 25th devotees in Nilanchala, were good singers who always accompanied Lord Chaitanya. Ramabhadra Charya Ara Odra Simeshwar Tapanacharya Ara Raghu Nilambar. Among the devotees who lived with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri, Ramabhadra Charya was the 26th, Simeshwara was the 27th, Tapanacharya was the 28th. Okay. Among the devotees who lived with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri, Ramabhadracharya was the 26th, Simeshwara the 27th, Tapanacharya the 28th, Raghunath Bhattacharya the 29th, and Nilambar the 30th. Singhabhata, Kamabhata, Dantura, Shivananda, Gaude Purva, Britya, Prabhur, Priya, Kamalananda. Singhabhata was the 31st, Kamabhata the 32nd, Shivananda the 33rd, and Kamalananda the 34th. They all formerly served Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Bengal, but later these servants left Bengal to live with the Lord in Jagannath Puri. Achyutananda Dvaita Charya Tanoi Nilachale Rohi Prabhur Charana Ashray. Achyutananda, the 35th devotee, was the son of Advaitacharya. He also lived with Lord Chaitanya, taking shelter of his lotus feet at Jagannath Puri. Nirloma Gangadas Ar Vishnudas A Sabera Prabhu Sanginila Chalivas. Nirloma Gangadas and Vishnudas were the 36th and 37th among the devotees who lived at Jagannath Puri. as servants of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Varnanasi Madhya Prabhu Bhaktatinjan Chandrasekhara Vaidya Aramishra Tapan Raghunatha Bhattacharya Misharanandan Prabhu Jabe Kashi Aila Deki Brindavan Chandrasekhar Grihe Koila Dui Mashabas Tapana Mishra Gare Bika Dui Mas. The prominent devotees at Varanasi were the physician Chandrasekhar, Tapan Mishra, and Raghunath Bhattacharya, Tapan Mishra's son. When Lord Chaitanya came to Varanasi after seeing Vrindavan for 2 months, he lived at the residence of Chandrasekhar Vaidya and accepted prasadam at the house of Tapan Mishra. Raghunath Bhalye Koila Prabhura Sevan Uchishta Marjana Ara Parasambahan. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed at the house of Tapan Mishra, Raghunath Bhatta, who was then a boy, washed his dishes and massaged his legs. Bora Hoila Nila Chale Gela Prabhurstani Ashtamasa Rohila Bika Dana Kondine. When Raghunath grew up to be a young man, he visited Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri and stayed there for 8 months. Sometimes he offered prasadam to the Lord. Prabhu Agyapaya Vrindavanere Aila Asiya Shri Rupa Gosar Nikate Rohila. Later, by the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Raghunath went to Vrindavan and remained there under the shelter of Srila Rupa Goswami. Tarastani Rupa Gosai Shunena Bhagavat Prabodha Kripaya Teho Krishna Preme Mat. While he stayed with Srila Rupa Goswami, his engagement was to recite Srimad Bhagavatam for him to hear. As a result of this Bhagavatam recital, he attained perfectional love of Krishna, by which he remained always maddened. Emata Sangyatita Chaitanya Bhaktagan Din Matra Liki Samyak Najai Katan. I list in this way only a portion of the innumerable devotees of Lord Chaitanya. To describe them all fully is not possible. Ekaika Sangate Lage Koti Koti Di Dal Ekaika Sakate Lage Koti Koti Dal Tarasisha Upasisha Tara Upadal. From each branch of the tree have grown hundreds and thousands of sub-branches of disciples and grand disciples. Sakala Bhariya Ache Prema Fula Fale Pashaila Tree Jagat Krishna Prema Jale. Every branch and sub-branch of the tree is full of innumerable fruits and flowers. They inundate the world with waters of love of Krishna. Every branch and sub-branch of the tree is full of innumerable fruits and flowers. They inundate the world with the waters of love of Krishna. Ek Shakara Shakti Ananta Mahima Sahasrabarane Jara Dite Nare Sima. Each and every branch of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotees has unlimited spiritual power and glory. Even if one has thousands of mouths, it would be impossible to describe the limits of their activities. Sankepi Kohila Mahaprabhur Bhaktagan Samagra Bolite Nare Sahasrabaran I have briefly described the devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in different places. Even Lord Sesha, who has thousands of mouths, could not list them all. Sri Rupa Raghunath Parijara As Chaitanya Charitamrita Kohe Krishnadas, praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I Krishnadas narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi-lila, 10th chapter, in the matter of the main trunk of the Chaitanya tree, its branches and its sub-branches. Hare Nama Krishna Jaravaya Nama
Hare Nama Krishna Jaravaya Nama
Jaravaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama Gopa Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinatha Marana Mohan Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chanda Jaradhara Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktivedanta Vaishnava Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Tilak Nirya Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmawacharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajaka Charyashta Tata Sadashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajaka Charyashta Tara Sadashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Rakakshidhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishordas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhaktivedanta Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Namachari Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasha Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Prem Se Go Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat Ki Jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vishwavarenya Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupad Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Kusham Ashram Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Namadeep Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Ki Jai. Saparshada Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshada Shriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Shri Koladvip Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Soquel Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram Ki Jai. Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Vrindamadam Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopi Govardhan Sham Kuna Radha Kunda Kalindi Yamuna Ju Ki Jai. Shri Purushottam Madam Ki Jai. Baladev Subhadra Jagannath Ju Ki Jai. Bhakti Vigna Vinashaya Shrina Shringadev Ki Jai. Bhakta Prabhara Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo.
Jai Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardan